The first thing you're going to need is some kind of stick of wood or cardboard. This is a good quality paint called made by Williamsburg. They're titanium zinc white. That's a good all-purpose white, I find. And this is a Blick inexpensive student grade. They call it mixing white. We're going to use that. And the Blick ivory black. So I like using a lot of paint for everything because frankly it just makes everything easier, and I hate paintings that look like the artist was being stingy with the paint. First thing we want to do is mix up some kind of middle value. We've already got 2 out of the 6 tones. There, we got white, we've got black. I'll take a good amount of this. There we go. A little bit of black, and just see if we're anywhere near a middle value. It's actually not too bad, but it's too light. Middle value, by the way, this is not a hard and fast rule, is pretty close to yellow ochre. Anyway, if you're in a pinch and you need a middle value reference, you can squeeze out some yellow ochre. This is not an exact science. We want something that's between white and black. We'll keep adjusting these so it doesn't have to be perfect. It's got to be mixed well enough that it is one value. That's pretty good. Well, clearly this is significantly lighter than that, and it's significantly darker than that. And now if we mix some of these two, I'll clean this up a bit once we get further along. So we'll continue along with the process. I shouldn't have done that because I sullied the white, but that's okay. You want it pretty big and pretty uniform so you can compare value. Now this is kind of muddy, the way this is mixed, and it's hard to tell what we have here. So let's clean that up. It's also too light. It's too close to this one. So I'm wiping off the palette knife with a paper towel in between. Now I'm going to smooth these piles out a little better. The reason is we want to be able to look at these color samples at the same angle, and if they're big mounds, then we're kind of seeing each one at a different angle, because part of the pile's at this angle, part of the pile's at this angle, part of the pile's at that angle, etc. If they're relatively flat, we can judge the value better. Now the question we want to ask is, where are the big color jumps, the big value jumps? I'd say one of the big ones is between the white and this next tone. These two look pretty close. In fact, all 3 of these are still too close, I would say. So, how can we spread them apart? Well, we can darken this darkest one, and we can lighten. I'll just show you how I clean off this palette knife. And we can lighten this lightest one a bit and start to pull the 3 apart that way. That's better already. Now take another look at these 6 piles, and I'm not measuring anything, I'm just using instinct. This tone through this value, value and tone I'll just use interchangeably. This value through this value all look like a family, and the pure white is jumping out as the distant cousin here. It doesn't fit with the others. So I'm going to keep working these to get all of them to look like a consistent, evenly spaced family of values. Okay, I think I've got this to a pretty good point where we have 6 values, and each one is quite distinct from the next one, and the jumps are roughly even. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I take a stick like this stirrer, paint stirrer. I'll start with white. Okay, there's a nice broad slab, opaque slab of white. Now we'll do the next value. Do the same on this one. The important thing here, there's a fair amount of paint on the stick, so it's opaque, because you don't want the wood tone to be influencing the tones of the value table. So obviously, once you've got the paint mixed, you could make a whole bunch of these, which is what I usually do. You can give them to friends, or, as they invariably get dirty, and then the values get skewed, you can throw it away and start with a fresh one. That looks like black, doesn't it? This shows you how deceptive value can be. It's all relative. It looks like black against that light colored stick. But as soon as I take real black and put it down, you see how much darker that is. I don't know, you can't really tell in this light, but it is darker. And there you have it. So that's your value stick. And you let it dry, and we'll use that later. I'll show you how you use that.